On top of the hill, Marshal Pomp. A few hundred metres down, a more raucous scene, less familiar to China's second-in-command. The Chinese Premier's supporters scuffling with protesters furious at human rights abuses in Hong Kong, Tibet and Xinjiang.
We've got up to 3 million people in the concentration camps.
We are undergoing a cultural genocide.
One man was arrested with police stopping activists from burning a Chinese flag. China's supporters focusing on the positive.
We are happy to see more Australian product exporting to China.
The tone inside the building also warm.
Thank you. Our discussions today have only strengthened my view that it's crucial for us to engage.
We both agreed to uphold the right characterization of our bilateral relationship.
Australia and China have radically different visions for the region, but the Prime Minister sees room for manoeuvre.
Addressing our differences without allowing them to define what our relationship is.
But sometimes those differences bubble back to the surface. Journalist Cheng Lei spent years in a Chinese jail. Now she's working as a reporter back in Australia. Chinese officials trying to stop cameras from filming her near the Premier.
They went to great lengths to block me.
Australian officials forced to intervene.
Look, I'm not aware of those issues.
The Prime Minister focusing more sharply on outcomes, including agreements on climate and trade. China will also offer Australians visa-free entry for short visits.
With the support of both peoples, we'll see heartening progress in the future.
And there's a glimmer of hope that both countries can find ways to avoid more tense military encounters.
Improving military-to-military communication.
There were no major breakthroughs today and plenty of reminders why ties with China remain so fraught and complex. The government believes it can thread the needle and protect Australia's core interests without needlessly infuriating Beijing and sending the relationship back into a downward spiral. But it's a delicate balancing act and one that's not going to get any easier. Stephen Jedgetts, ABC News, Canberra.
Despite the focus on improving ties, Australia's concerns over China's actions in the region were raised behind closed doors during today's meeting. For his take, here's the ABC's political lead, David Spears.
The Chinese Premier wants to accentuate the positives and eliminate the negatives. As Bing Crosby sang, he says differences should be shelved. Anthony Albanese, by contrast, says disagreements won't simply disappear if left in silence. He's shelving nothing. And according to those present, Australia's concerns were all raised behind closed doors and noted respectfully. There were no heated exchanges. Premier Lee even cracked jokes. Remaining trade sanctions are expected to be lifted soon. But there's no sign of China shifting course on Taiwan, the South China Sea or the Pacific. And the attempt by Chinese officials to block cameras filming Australian journalist Cheng Lei here today shows attitudes towards a free press haven't changed much either. Dialogue is important, and today marked a further step forward in stabilising ties, but only to a point.